How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we are going over an alternative investment to stocks that Cathie Wood thinks can go up 26x from where it is right now. And this has gone up about 4x throughout the year. This is a really interesting type of investment that actually I just talked about. And one of the reasons this is so interesting is because one of the last times the Ark took such a large position and talked about stocks so strongly or an investment so strongly, they were talking about Tesla when they bet that the bull case on Tesla was about 5,900, or they even upped it to 7,000. And this was a large amount over what it was at the time. I think it was sitting around $300 or so. So they were thinking it would about 20x. And you can see here on Reddit, people said that they like Cathie Wood, but this seems ridiculous. And this was the feeling of a lot of investors, a lot of institutional and retail investors. And this is a pretty strong stance that they took on this investment here today. We'll talk about where it's going and some other fund managers that have leaked what their price targets are. They think it's also going to go up 10 to 20 times where it is now. And some other Fortune 500 companies that have been buying it and have made it a large position in their balance sheets. So if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Share it to whoever you want to if they are interested in this kind of stuff. Also, if you want to check out WeBull, check out the link down below. They're giving away 4 free stocks. Definitely click that, see if you can get some big name stocks. You can get up to $1,600 for some of those stocks, so definitely check it out. Also, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, definitely do that. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers. We are almost at 21 right now, so I think we're going to hit 25 by maybe a couple weeks from now. Definitely do that. So Cathie Wood just came out in a tech seminar saying that she thinks Bitcoin can go to $500,000. So there are a couple of reasons for this. First of all, she mentions that we've been up 160% year to date, but she thinks this is just the beginning. She says, with the decision by the Fed to keep interest rates low, Bitcoin being a digital alternative to gold and an insurance policy against inflation are reasons why Bitcoin has increased in price so far. She says, it reminds her of her early days of institutions beginning to make small allocations to real estate and emerging markets. She said the allocations started at about 0.5% and then rose to 5%. If institutions allocated mid-single digit amounts to Bitcoin, it could take the price to a range of $400,000 to $500,000. Now, there are only about 21 million Bitcoin possible, and about 18.5 million of which is already mined. So they do have to be mined. There's only a set amount that there can be out there. Now, this is pretty important because it has been going up massively already throughout the year. So a lot of people thought that this might be the end. This might be the end of the push because we're reaching almost all-time highs. If you look here, just a month ago, it was at 12,800. Now it's at 18,700. And if you go to this website, so first of all, shout out to AssetDash. They are a partner of the channel, but they show market caps in real time. And you can see the market cap of all these different companies, and Bitcoin is now 15th. So they include alternate investments in here, like ETFs, like Bitcoin. And you can see it is beating out large competitors like MasterCard, Nvidia, United Health Group. It is becoming one of the largest assets out there at a market cap of about $346 billion. So not too long, and it might pass some of these major companies like Facebook, Tencent, Tesla. Right now, they've already talked about it on Ark Invest website. They believe that cryptocurrencies are governed by open source networks. They're enabling a new paradigm for monetary systems and mechanisms to store and transfer value. They think that this is a good investment. Now, as far as I can tell, they have not invested in Bitcoin themselves, but this has not stopped other companies from talking about it. So just recently, this was leaked. So November 19, Citibank report reveals Bitcoin could rocket to $300,000 by the end of 2021. So they are expecting it to go about 15x from where it is now. Now, there are some things I want to tell you that are, some risks of this, and I'll hit those in a second. But they had a leaked report that said that Bitcoin could potentially hit a high of $318,000 by December of 2021, calling it 21st century gold. They say the whole existence of Bitcoin has been characterized by unthinkable rallies, followed by painful corrections. They say time will tell whether we end up seeing such lofty levels to 318,000, but they think they're looking at a potential major move higher nonetheless in the next 12 to 24 months. Now, this has been shown to be a little bit true, especially with what Cathie Wood has been saying, because Square recently bought $50 million in Bitcoin. So this is about 1% of Square's total assets at the end of the quarter. This is really interesting to see them buy such a large position. Square is pretty much on the cutting edge of the finance industry, but they are taking a major position. And this is something that a lot of institutional investors, a lot of retail investors might think is a little bit risky at this point. A lot of people don't really like to buy Bitcoin, but Square believes that this is something that's definitely worth investing in. Now, I will be interested to see whether Ark Invest actually buys cryptocurrency if they really think it can go up that much, or whether they will stay on the sidelines. Now, I have not personally bought Bitcoin. I do think that Bitcoin is probably the best way to go, because even Ark says it here that a few cryptocurrencies will capture the majority of value. So I think Bitcoin's the way to go, is the most well known. It's the easiest one to access. So I think that that's probably the way to go. The one thing that I would be a little bit cautious on is the fact that this was leaked. So I think that there is a potential for these companies to try to push up the price of Bitcoin, kind of like some investment banks do with stocks, and then some retail investors come in and then they start selling out in massive amounts. So I would be cautious. I know some people have a large amount of their net worth in Bitcoin, in some of these other cryptocurrencies. If I wanted to invest a significant amount in Bitcoin, I probably would stick to 1 to 5%, just like Cathie Wood said that companies should put between 0.5 and 5%. I would probably consider about the same. And the reason for that is if it goes up to, let's say 500,000 and you have 5% of your net worth in it, that means it will about 25x from where it is now. That would give you over 100% return, even just having 5% in Bitcoin. So over 100% on your total portfolio, 5% would go up to 125%. So you have that upside potential, but if it goes down to zero, it won't push you back long term. And if these investment funds are wrong, then that's fine. You are not going to lose your shirt on it if you only put, 1 to 5% in it. So I am considering buying it. I've just not done it yet. But again, I think it's something that you should be cautious of. And if you do want to, you can support the channel. This is not like a long video or anything like that. I won't get paid a lot. These Bitcoin videos do not do that well. But if you do want to support and you want some free stocks, if you want to get that Bitcoin and start buying, a lot of brokers don't carry Bitcoin. So you can check out WeBull. They just introduced it recently. It is very low transaction cost compared to some of these other companies. So definitely check that out. And if you do want to see a different thing, a different stock that Ark Invest is buying, they actually bought over $100 million worth their first day of buying it. You can check out the video on the end screen, and I'll also include the other video to Bitcoin down here, which is a little bit longer on Bitcoin and what the pros and cons of Bitcoin are. So definitely check those videos out if you haven't already.